Yo, 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 what is up everybody? Popo here, bringing guys a new video, and today we're going to be making some predictions and some hot takes about the Knoxville Regionals. Let's go. Welcome everybody, and today we're going to be making some predictions and doing some hot takes for the Knoxville Regionals. If you look back at our last video, we did not do so great when it came to the hot takes once again, but today, it's it. This is it. This is the one. I'm feeling these hot takes, all right? So they are going to align perfectly, though our percentages up here did really well last week. We were spot on with a couple of them, so I was really happy about that. So we're going to see if we can keep up that energy going this week too. So let's just get right into it. I think going into this regionals, the meta has shaken up a little bit, just a little tiny bit, with the introduction of that new Porygon 2 Ting Lu team, and everybody's making their own versions of that team. I used a version of that team last week at a PC, and I went 2 and 3. Though I should have probably went at least 3 and 2, so I'm a little sad about that. But the team was really fun to play, but really hard. It was a super defensive switchy team, so you had to make a lot of right calls and stuff like that. So it was a tough one, and the PC was stacked. It was stacked. But it was a great time. But yeah, so I think that team is going to affect the meta. Also, Wolf Glick's team winning again, another regionals, is going to affect this meta too, but not as much as you would think, because I think that's going to be the opposite, right? A lot of people are going to be countering that team. That Ting Lu team does a really good job countering Wolf Glick's team. So our first pick here at 68%. I mean, is Fluttermane, is it? Right, like, what would it be anything else? It's obviously Fluttermane. At 45%, we got Incineroar, of course. I put Incineroar at number 3 and Ogerpon Wellspring at number 2 last week. If I would have flipped those, I would have been perfect on the first 3 in terms of percentages and everything, which would have been kind of sick. But now we get the Wellspring. Wellspring is really good. And it's going to be on a lot of teams. I think that we'll see some fire ones as well. So Ogerpon overall would be second. It's probably going to be around 60% of teams are going to have at least one of the Ogerpons. Next, we're going back to a favorite of people, and that is Tornadus. Tornadus was in the slot last week, so I think it's going to keep into that position. And we'll continue to see some Urshifus, in which we will see Urshifu Single Strike continue to be the dominant one at the moment, mostly because Wellspring is really good against it, or really good against the Water one, and the Water one's place is just kind of falling off. A lot of these teams just really know how to deal with it at this point. I mean, it was so big in Regulation D that going into Regulation E, it just, people know how to counter it. So I think Single Strike is going to continue to be the number one Urshifu, and 25% of teams. And the last one's Amoonguss. I think with the rise of that Ting Lu team, we're going to see some Amoonguss because that team runs Amoonguss. I think Amoonguss is going to be splashed onto other teams. We're going to see double grass types a lot. We might see Wellspring plus Amoonguss, and Wellspring is really good against Amoonguss too, so it's a really good counter to it. Amoonguss has been winning a lot of these littler events, like these online tours and these PCs and stuff, so I think it's going to be the time for Amoonguss to re-emerge as a top contender and win another regional. So Amoonguss at that number 6 slot. After that, I would say something like Farigiraf is going to continue to be really good. You're going to have Ogerpon, Hearthflame, and maybe something a little bit surprising up in that top. Raging Bolt might also increase from last week, as there are a lot of them doing well, especially the Assault Vest sets that include Snarl. Those are doing pretty good because it has really good damage output, and it's also just so bulky. So I think we can see some of those. All right, next onto the underrated Mons. And if you remember last week, I said Tyranitar was going to do well. Continue not to. I said if he doesn't do well this week, it's over. Well, I lied, because Tyranitar is once again in my underrated mons. I think this mon has a chance. Like, give him a chance. But the rest of the lineup has changed. I think we're gonna see some Bronzong. I think Bronzong is a really good Trick Room setter right now. There's two metas right now, right? There's a really fast meta, I feel like, and then there's a really, really slow meta. And I think Bronzong can really damage those really slow metas. And also, it's really decent into some of the size spam stuff. So I think it could be pretty decent. We'll see. And then we got Annihilate. I think Annihilate without Mouse is still pretty good. And I think we might see a rise of that a little bit more. Maybe something with a weird Terra type on it that can just take a hit, maybe get some Rage Fists off. Maybe we might even see the resurgence of the Final Gambit versions. I think Annihilate is in a pretty good spot right now. I've been using it a little bit, and it's actually hitting things pretty well. So, and then Landorus T, we saw a rise a little bit of Landorus T from being like barely in the top 200 of Charlotte regionals to being in the top 100 of this Liverpool regional. So I think we might continue to see a little bit of a rise as Landorus I does continue to drop off, as it's just not doing as much as it used to. So we might see this keep going, and it's pretty good against Urshifu just in general. Yeah, it can get one shot by Terra Dark, like, you know, whatever, but it also kills back, and it's faster with the Choice Scarf. So, and then Comfey, I think we could see some Comfeys with some Assault Vest, or not Assault Vest users, excuse me, the Weakness Policy users, getting those free boosts and also having heal support on those same Pokemon. So you can go super bulky sets on these Pokemon, and then you can have Comfey really being able to heal them up and put them in a really good position, as well as maybe even having Trick Room or Tailwind support, because if you don't know, Comfey gets both. So Comfey could be in a really good position going into this regionals, maybe teamed up with something like Tyranitar even, or Weakness Policy, you know, Annihilate or something. Who knows, right? There's a lot of things it could do with that Drain Kiss, and just something really fast, and you could just get a lot of damage. So I'm interested to see. Maybe even Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt +2 seems a little scary too. So, but yeah, those are my underrated mons. I think these things will be pretty decent. We will see. And last but not least, we got the hot takes. All right. So, like I said, the last week's hot takes did not pan out, but this week is the week that every single one of these is going to be true. So just write these down, place bets, whatever you got to do on these hot takes. These are the ones. These are pretty much just me seeing the future, right? It's just me seeing the future, putting them out there for you. So, number one, Joe Ugarte wins the whole event. Joe has been on the cusp of topping or winning these events. It's time. Joe is going to take the victory here at Knoxville. Obviously, Joe is a fantastic player, really consistent as well. So I think Joe, it's just time. Joe's going to take it. Easy. Might drop 2 sets the whole tournament. Joe's going to take it. Easy. Number 2. Wolf's team doesn't get top 16. Okay, so there's 2 regionals going on. This one is specifically for Knoxville, so Wolfie's team does not get top 16. It won 2 events in a row. I think people are going to be able to counter it. They're going to be ready for it. They saw it as maybe a one and done, so they weren't ready for it in Liverpool. Maybe a week wasn't enough to prepare for it. Whatever it might be, I think Wolf Glick's team is going to fall to some of these better players, like Joe, like, you know, Chup Across, any of those players. They're going to really know what to do. They've studied this team by now. They've really prepared for it. They've seen it win 2. So I just think that they're going to be super ready for it. Though, maybe somebody could be a really good player, just like last week in Liverpool, and able to go through the weeds and beat those teams that thought they were prepared for it. So who knows? It can go either way, right? And number 3, we got Porygon 2 and Ting-Lu team gets top 8. I think we're going to see one of these teams get top 8. I think there's going to be a lot of usage on both of them. So I think there's a good chance that they maybe just sneak in. Maybe they get the right matchups and they get into that top 8. But I don't think they get much further than that top 8. I really want to see the teams, so I'm hoping it gets top 8. Put it on stream. Let's go. Don't clone your Pokemon. They got rid of the clone glitch. I guess you could still do it if you have an older copy, but don't clone your Pokemon, please. They'll know. They'll know. And last but not least, oh, there we go. Wolfie's team wins Melbourne. There it is. There it is. The Melbourne Regional is happening at the same time. I think Wolf's team's going to win it. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. I think the meta is going to be a lot more centralized over there because it's a smaller regional, so people are going to bring more good stuffs. So I think we might see some more good Wolfie teams. I think Knoxville, which is going to be a larger regionals than that, can have these very specific teams that can be used to counter specific batches rather than having a team that has to be good stuff. And if you get the right matchups, you can end up doing really well. And I think the Wolf's team is just good enough to win another regional, and I think it could be the Melbourne Regional. So, yeah. Those are kind of my hot takes, guys. If you guys agree with them, let me know. If you guys got your own hot takes, leave them down below. I would love to hear them. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you guys thumbs it up. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.